No, so let's talk about drafting for a bit because we've heard zero RB. We've heard about, listen, it seems like, because this wasn't really our draft. This was AB's draft.
Don't say that, man. We put a little bit in it, man.
We put a little bit in it.
Nah.
But listen.
It was AB's draft, though.
It's his draft.
And I'm not going to lie. I was a little tipsy, too.
They might not know.
I was coming back from a pool party. I was out in the sun all day. I was a little hazy.
But you've been drafting a lot.
That's a criminal offense. Drinking and drafting, that's you got to be careful.
But you've been heavy, robust RB this drafting season.
No, I've not. I've been playing it two ways. I've been playing both sides. Because when I first started, I was like, these running backs are going so late. Running backs are being pushed down the board. Mm-hmm. I have to respect the market. I got to respect the market. And I got to play the market.
Put our draft up.
So when I can see, the board falls, I was getting a ton of CD Lab. And I can start off, Stephon Diggs. I can start off Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams because he was sliding. I was like, I'm going to do that every time. I love Amon-Ra. I'm not as high on A.J. Brown as everyone else, but I'll take him in the second round. But knowing I can get all of the potential running backs that are going between rounds 5 and 6, and even in rounds 4, I love getting that stud wide receiver, especially the top 6 guys. The others I kind of play around with. But the running backs that are falling, to me, I like the idea of getting consistent production, and I feel like it's a lot more predictable trying to figure out what RB2 to play against a certain matchup versus trying to figure out what wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 to play against a certain matchup. Yeah. End of season points always look the same, and it's like, okay, Terry McLaurin scores the same amount as Rashad White, but it's hard to know when to play Terry McLaurin. For me, I think it's not as hard to know when to play Rashad White. And if I got 5 or 6 of those guys, I can just toggle between who has the best RB matchup. Yeah. So that's kind of the premise, but behind a hero wide receiver or a zero wide receiver build in certain cases if I want to get a little crazy.
It's really just the fact that we might be getting to a point where, again, we might be jumping the shark with the whole wide receiver heavy draft.
Exactly. Yeah. This is like when I pivot.
Zero running back.
Yes.
It was a profitable or a good strategy because everybody was taking running backs, and you were able to get 4 or 5 top wide receivers, top 10 wide receivers, and just have them all on your team. But now everybody's taking wide receivers. If you go zero running back, your third wide receiver might be a wide receiver 2-3-ish type of guy. Yeah. And then that advantage is really not there anymore. So then it's like what I'm always saying, with everybody zigging, I'm looking at the zag.
Yeah.
And if you're zag, you can really stock up on these running backs if you hit the right one. The only concern is that it's just a fragile position. So I'm still not there where you are yet. Mm-hmm. But let's see the vision.
Let's talk about this board. Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
There you go. Get in there. Get in there.
We got to give him another drink.
This is what every investor says. It doesn't pay to go with the herd. Right. In fact, sheeps get slaughtered. Yeah. So you zig when others are zagging. That's where all the money is, and that's always been true for me throughout my career. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I get what you're saying. I just can't get on board with it. I think this is the ultimate zero RB year. Okay. Look at we know about the RB age cliff. Mm-hmm. That historic draft class that had Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones,
Dalvin Cook,
Austin Eckler, Alvin Kamara. Yeah. They're all on the precipice of the age cliff. Yeah. Derrick Henry just broached the age cliff. Mm-hmm. We have the threat of multiple running backs holding out. Josh Jacobs, possibly J.K. Dobbins. We have, some of the young running backs you should get excited about. Breece Hall are coming off of Javonte Williams, devastating knee injuries. Mm-hmm. With the added extra game onto the year, when I do my post-draft presser series, I listen to every coach and GM talk. All of the ones who took running backs early said, the age of the bell cow is over. You need multiple guys. It's just such a long, grueling season. Mm-hmm. And so it's all these things stacked on top of each other. But the biggest thing to me is just you go where the value is. And to me, I'm looking at this board. You want to talk about this board. And the value I'm seeing is, damn, Josh Jacobs round 3. Damn, JoeMixon round 4. Mm-hmm. Rashad White round 6, round 5 turn. Yeah. Round 6, Alexander Madison. Round 7, James Conner. I love all of those guys. That is insane value. Yeah. So if I can get that, like potential bell cows and a Rashad White, Alexander Madison, James Conner late. I'm going to be trying to load up on wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I will say though, like, I don't know about Chris Olave, Devonta Smith, round 2.
That's my point. So this is where we go. So my team here starts off Tyreek Hill. Okay, so I don't like to go. Yeah, this is Tyreek Hill is my team. So I don't like the 0 wide receiver build. I like the hero.
Oh, you got 2 of the running backs I met. Oh, 3 of the running backs I met.
Thank you. So it has just like with 0 wide receiver.
And
this is the
format. This is the format too, where it's like you don't start 3. It's 2 and then 2 flex. Yeah. So that does aid the argument. But sorry, go on.
Yeah. See, converting.
I got you.
They didn't believe. They didn't see the vision. They didn't believe. But yeah, so we start off with Tyreek Hill, get a hero, and then, like you said, like I could have taken Jalen Waddle there, pair him with Hill. You can argue for.
I would have liked the team better if you did that, but that's okay.
But then you get to Olave, you get to Devontae Smith, and I'm like, great wide receivers, but are they going to score more than Jonathan Taylor?
Okay.
So I'm just that's the issue. So I'm like, I don't want to just give up points.
You're right.
So then we get back to round 3, and I'm like, at this stage, I'm just going to assume that he's going to sign at some point. He doesn't have much leverage. He could definitely hold out, but I volume draft. I'm trying to beat 10,000 other people, so I just gotta, I gotta just take third round Josh Jacobs when he comes to me in the mid third round, and he's one of the few potential bell cows, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the idea behind for me for when I'm talking about this robust RB build or the hero wide receiver build is it's not just grab running backs, it's grab potential bell cow running backs and those who will play ideally a role in the passing game as well.
Right.
So then JoeMixon in the 4th, you can argue that, but who am I taking after that? I like Christian Watson, but JoeMixon versus a Drake London versus a Deontay Johnson, to me is, I'd just rather just take the guy in the elite offense with a lot of question marks behind him.
I think people are just taking these wide receivers.
Yeah.
Just and then take them.
So I can't get on board with DK Metcalf round 3, Calvin Ridley round 3.
But that's where they're going.
I know. So I get exactly what you're saying. I will also say, like, Debo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Debo and Keenan and Christian Watson, 2 of those went right before you.
Yeah.
I like them exactly as much as I like.
I would have definitely taken Keenan Allen.
That's my guy this year for sure. Yeah. Insane value.